But it's such a fun community, right? Like we have a great community,
Right.
and so I'm trying to add positivity into the community, and like kind of like weed out some of the people that are hopefully it's going to happen, but some people that are just like jealous or like there's enough business for all of us to go around.
Welcome to the In the Arena podcast. My name is Jared Miguez, a co-host on this podcast that brings you the inspiring stories of our clients who are leaders and innovators across different industries in Southeast Louisiana. They are visionary entrepreneurs, savvy real estate professionals, media creators, military business owners, and community champions. And we are going to showcase the remarkable achievements and share their personal stories. Tune in for insightful conversations, valuable lessons, and motivational stories that are going to reveal their secrets to success and offer you insights to help you on your own path. Welcome to In the Arena podcast.
So Daniel, I know I've known you for years, but so I like seeing these things. So obviously you're a local real estate agent with Keller Williams, and you have a very strong social media presence. And then, I didn't know this, but you were an LSU graduate with a marketing degree.
I did.
Yeah, and LSU. Okay, you can both. But so you currently live in Madisonville with your wife, Taylor, and your son, Camden. Everyone loves Camden. And so you consistently rank in the top 5% in the greater New Orleans area. And obviously you've got some rankings within Keller Williams as well, but you also have some rankings within the community. So that's a lot of what you do, is a lot of stuff with the community. And so, for example, the Edge of Lake magazine, they honored you as 40 under 40. Was that when you were the 40 under 40 as well? But it's a similar, yeah, okay. But then Social Magazine named you Mr. Northshore. So talk to us about that. So there's a lot of other things you do. There's some different boards that you're on and whatnot. I'm sure we're going to dive into that. But you wear a few different hats, I guess you could say. Well, actually, I don't even know if you would say you wear a ton of different hats, but it's the reality that you do a lot within the community. So yeah, that's
yeah. So I would say that I actually probably do wear a lot of hats because I just got a call before I got here. I just booked a reservation for someone at Chifuncta's. And they called me and they were like, "Hey man, could you get me in tonight?" I was like, yeah, I got you. And they're like, "All right, can you pull some strings?" And so I booked them at a reservation at Chifuncta's, and I just want an open table app. Just booked the thing, but I freaking loved it. I called my wife and I was like, "Babe, this is the coolest thing." She's like, "Why is that so cool?" I was like, "Because they think of me like I can get them an inside shirt, or like they think of me like when they think of like literally party planning. I get like, hey, who should I use for party planning?" Like, so like when the Mr. Northshore thing was announced, was like just made my life it made me so happy. But it's kind of fun. It's like you're like the guy that knows all people on the North Shore and you can connect us.
Yeah,
and that
connecting is huge.
It's so huge, and so it's like. I actually used to get annoyed by that kind of stuff, but now I love it. I think it's the coolest thing. So I do wear a lot of hats. I probably do way too much, but it's all about like getting your name out there, getting your brand out there, right? And then it's tying all back to real estate. So real estate is my number one career, my only career, full time. And I'll tell you is, I do social media and I do MC stuff and I do local television, all this stuff. But it literally all ties back to real estate. I was just telling Courtney this, is I just got done interviewing a local charity that is doing a children's farmers market, cutest thing I've ever seen. Well, I
didn't know they existed. It was really cute.
Like, yeah, so it's 110 kids, and they're all going to be doing this children's farmers market on March 30th. And they are all getting together and they're selling their goods. It's like promoting kids as entrepreneurs, right?
I love that.
So, isn't that the coolest thing? Well, I'd never heard of it until someone reached out and said, "Hey, would you talk about this thing they're trying to promote them?" So this is so cool. As I went, and I never said one thing about real estate, but I wore my Keller Williams shirt, which I do every single day for the past 7 years. And but I do own multiple shirts. I just wear the same one every single day. Yeah. And so I wear it's like a soft sell, right? So I'm wearing my Keller Williams shirt. But anyway, I interviewed all these kids, and one kid sold jewelry, and one kid sold thing. So I just filmed.
Wait, did any of them sell slime?
Oh my God, the slime thing. Don't even talk about the slime thing. Drives me nuts.
But yeah, that's a
My
yes.
kid is into slime and it's everywhere and it's all in
But one of them was selling it, right?
Oh yeah, they sell slime, goat's milk,
good
like
Lord.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I interviewed a bunch of them, and so I started releasing them, and the shares are insane.
Yeah.
And all their parents are reaching out to me. "Thank you so much for sharing," and they're sharing. And I'm like, boom, that's it. Like it's hey, my name is getting out there. They're following me. then their parents are, saying, hey, thank you for helping support my kid. So I'm supporting the community, which is my passion. Like I love supporting the community. That I'm giving back to this community because I'm not even from here. Don't tell anybody that. But I'm like, they gave me my start, right? And so it's like I want to give back to them.
Yeah.
Plus, I get to do video and social media, which is my favorite thing ever. Plus, it's relating back to real estate. And literally, I have 9 listings right now, and I'm getting 2 more next week.
Yeah.
And so like the listing leads are coming in like crazy, and I have never, Courtney, made one phone call. I've never made one cold call.
Well, 'cause
I've
that's-
never bought a lead. None of that. It just comes in. It's like attracting those things.
Right.
So it's
Well,
just,
and that's how like agents are trained, right? Like, and so let's face it, I'm not an agent, but I have read
you're the
books.
next closest thing.
Well, but I've read books designed for agents, right? And all these. I mean, I read the Millionaire, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and other books by Gary, where they're like saying, hey, like I get that, right? They're like, hey, go cold call, go, work these things, but like, why did you not start off like the same way everyone else does?
So that's a good question. I'll tell you is if it's not fun for me, I'm not going to do it.
Thanks for seeing this was fun.
Yeah, this is the only podcast I've ever agreed to do ever. This is the very first one, and it possibly is my last. So you tell us at home, like, share, and subscribe. So anyway, so I'm wearing my ADD ring today. So if you see that, it's gonna drive you nuts. So just comment how many times I switch hands with it. But I'll tell you is if it's not fun for me, I won't do it. So for example, my form of cold calling is like 30 minutes every day. I do this thing. It's called my phone lotto scroll. And I'll go through my phone and I just kind of scroll. And I'll wait for it to like land on a certain picture. And I'll find like a selfie that I've taken with somebody. And I'll just send it to them. Like, hey, good talking to you. I miss you. Wish we were hanging out like we were here and in this picture or whatever. And then we just kind of have like a natural conversation. And it's like kind of fun. Like it's fun for me to like go back through old pictures and then see old faces and then just so like that's my lead generation every day, 30 minutes, and it's like fun for me. And it's like instead of saying like out of the blue, just
Hey,
call somebody
stranger.
like, are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? So I had to make it fun, and social media is fun, right? So it's like something that's kind of fun and unique and different, and then video. That's the big thing. So when I went into video, that's when my career took off. There's 2 things that happened. Jared was there for one of them, but I went to Keller Wilson reunion and I talked to this lady and she was like, you have to go heavy into video, like video every single day. So I started doing Facebook Lives. And if you want to be real with yourself, do a Facebook Live. Like there's no filter.
Yeah.
There's no like editing. It's live and you have to perfect it.
Yeah.
And so like I just kept going and I perfected that live on camera skill, which then led to WDSU, WWL, like all those opportunities, right? Because you have to be able to pivot in the middle of your sentence and go go with the flow.
Well,
So that's
and also
first.
the different mediums are different. So like, all right. So if someone wants me to teach a 2-hour class, that's one thing. If someone wants me to come and talk for 10 minutes, that's another thing. If someone wants me to answer something on the radio and I have a 3-minute response time, like those are different mediums, right? And so yeah, those are different skill sets. A lot of people think it's all the same. No, there's skills involved with it.
And you have to practice at it, right?
Absolutely.
So like my first videos were really, really awful. And I actually deleted them and I found them like a couple months ago. And I was like, I think I should post these.
100%.
Just like, it'd be so funny.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so they were really bad, but like, it's like consistency, right? Everyone says that. But it's very true. Like consistently over time, you're going to get better.
Right.
And
it's
so,
repetition.
What?
It's repetition.
It's repetition.
It's like the gym, right? Like it's just the repetition of doing it again and again. We're gonna with every podcast, we're gonna keep getting better.
Oh, you guys are like already there. It's so good already, and we're only 30 seconds in. I'm just super impressed.
You want to know something I'll say, and most people don't connect this dot, but I know that, and I know you, I know your family. What you're doing with social media, and this is a common theme in every successful business owner, whether I'm talking to somebody who's been in the military, in a business, or in real estate, you're adding value to people, and you're doing it in a way that, like you said, soft promoting who you are and what you do. It allows you to fund the life that you have and do all the things you enjoy, right? And a lot of people can't do things they enjoy because they don't make enough money while they're doing it to be able to do
They
that.
have to go slave away at doing whatever they're doing.
You figured that out, but what people don't know is behind the scenes that you're adding value to everybody that you're in front of. You truly are.
Like making the connection.
Whether it's the yoga studio that Love More Yoga that you're promoting, or the politicians that you've supported, like you are putting yourself out there in a way that other people can see you, but calling attention to somebody else you're supporting. And I think that's why you said this is the only podcast you've ever done, because this is all about Daniel Munn. And people think in their minds that what you do is all about Daniel Munn. But the reality is, I know your heart, and that's not what you're there for. You are there to add value. You happen to do with a Keller Williams shirt on, and it brings business to you as well.
Which makes us money, and I can feed my family through it.
And you keep doing it.
And look, and I tell people this all the time, like the point of social media is to attract people that know, like, and trust you and think the way that you do. If you do that in a way of like constantly self-promoting yourself, you're going to turn people off. But if you're doing it in a way to support other people, that's whenever you're adding value, and that's when people are going to be attracted to you even more.
Or you can even like just like so think about it, it's like so it's instead of education, it's edutainment.
Yes.
You've heard of that, right?
Yes.
Where it's like I'm not just sitting here like so I have like people who I'll come across where it's like they know a lot, but they just don't know how to deliver it, right? And so it's like, hi, look at me and everything I know, but it versus like, hey, let me either introduce you to some people I know, or let me talk about something in a way in which you'll pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll give you two examples. Is like, so I interviewed Ross Shales in this room. He's a flood expert, right?
Yep.
When everyone was wondering what was going on with insurance rates. So I sat here, he sat here, and he explained all about FEMA 2.0 and all the flood stuff, right? I literally asked him 3 questions, and he just rambled for 30 minutes. But people learned a lot of information from that. Why is that important? So I didn't do anything. I just provided the camera and the platform.
Right.
He spoke to the public, which provided them value. They learned something, and then they're subconsciously like, oh, Daniel helped me learn that. I didn't do anything. I just sat here for 30 minutes.
You provided the platform for them, but most people aren't willing because they are nervous about getting in front of the camera, or they don't like the way they look, and they overthink their own selfish. And I mean, selfish is the word that came to my head. But they think about their own personal feelings.
With their shortcomings with it.
Exactly. But you say it's not about me.
Right.
It's about whoever I'm either promoting or the value that they're adding. And you added value to the public by having the courage, because it takes a ton of courage to sit in front of the camera and do what you do all the time, to have the courage to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to give everybody else access to this person that I know by giving a platform and doing that. And I think that is,
people
it clicks in your mind better than it does other people with social media.
People don't realize the power of a platform, right? Like it, and especially, okay, so a lot of you guys know me from when I founded the Northshore Real Estate Investor Meetup, right? I did that because there wasn't really something like that there was a vacuum for it. There was a need for it. And I wasn't, I'm gonna pause. Grab it. No, you're good. You're good.
Where'd it go?
I don't know what's underneath there.
We felt the whole energy in the room.
I looked at you, and you were like, oh, and I go, oh no.
I felt the panic set in
So
for
funny.
a second.
All right, North Shore, the vacuum.
Yeah, so, and I'll get going and then I'll come back to you. But so when I founded the Northshore Real Estate Investor Meetup, it was because there wasn't anyone who was willing to set up a monthly meeting, schedule the speakers. And I remember my very first meeting, I was like, I don't really have anything to say other than let me talk to you about something that's really profound in my life. And it was like pretty much from a book, right? It was Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant. So I was talking about the power of investing.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, but this is really not about me. Like, I really want to just get the foundation laid so that people will, like, the speakers will come, the, conversations we'll have. But like, that was there's different types of platforms. And I think a lot of people don't realize the power of that, because there's a level in which, I mean, that's huge. And so what you're doing, people don't see social media as a platform in which, so you said that there was 2 big springboards in your career.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that.
God, this is the new Oprah, the millennial Oprah right here. That is good that you went back to that. So, so first was video, but second was, so again, trying to differentiate myself, because every lawyer is going to have a, sign on the interstate, injured, call me, right? Yeah. Every agent's going to say, buy, sell, invest with me. Like, what makes you different, right? So
sure, investors say we buy houses, call me. I thought they all work together.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is
don't.
just the most annoying thing. So I decided that when I got into real estate, like I was gonna go in with a bang and like just be like, hey, I'm gonna introduce myself. Same thing if you're gonna open a Smoothie King,
Right.
and you're gonna open a brick and mortar, like you're gonna have a grand opening ceremony, you're gonna have a ribbon cutting, the mayor's gonna be there, a lot of stuff. Like when you come out as a real estate agent, you know, you're one of 5,000 area, like, all right, good luck, Chuck, you know. So I said, here's what I'm gonna do. I called Jared and Serrata, and I said, hey, look, I'm gonna do this like event. I need
Serrata
like
was your team leader at the time.
no,
this
she
was-
was with Capstone Insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I called 2 vendors and I said, I actually called multiple vendors and everyone hung the phone up on me. Every single one. Because it wasn't going to be like $50, $20. It was
So
going
you
to
were
be
a
like
new agent.
new agent. And I was like, hey, Jared, can you give me like $250? He was like, oh man. But he's like, all right, like tell me the thing. And I told him the whole thing. He's like, all right, you got it. So anyway, so long story short, we had a band. We gave away an iPad. I had signs on the interstate. I had we went crazy. We had
So it was like your
200.
grand ribbon cutting.
It was my grand opening. It was my ribbon cutting. So we had 250 people there. We got shut down by the cops twice.
So wait, the cops didn't fully shut it down the first time, and people
Well,
came back around.
they said, yeah, that's a story for another day. But they like literally, it was so insane, right?
Right.
And I remember at the end of the night, Jared said, Daniel Munn, I will pay $250 all day, every day for like this, because it was so much more value than just having one person at the open house, but it got so much attention. Now, with that comes the negative attention and the people that are mad or jealous or whatever that start, you know, the hate, right? And so I was bullied in grammar school. I used to have a terrible nose. That was the first thing I saved up. $18,000 to get this brand new nose here. But literally used to eat my lunch. I was thinking about this the other day. I used to eat my lunch under the stairwell in the lost and found department. And I would make little notes on what items have been there longer. And then like after like 2 or 3 weeks, I would like take the items. But anyway, so I was like, I was heavily bullied in high school and grammar school. And so the thing about it is like when I get hatred, I want everyone to like me. Like I want everyone to like me.
Sure.
So when I get hate and when I get these like negative things, I start to go back into like, oh, I'm like self-protecting, right? And so the interesting thing about that is that when you're putting yourself out there,
Right.
like, and you're living a big life, like you're going to get negativity. You're going to
Sure.
get people that are going to hate you because
You can't make everyone happy.
You can't make everyone happy, but that's what I want, to make everyone happy, right? And so I used to be upset when I would like lose a listing to a 97-year-old grandmother who just thought I was too hyper for her, right? But that's not my client. Like if you want someone to go on a roof and jump up and down, if you want someone to dress up as the Easter Bunny, like if you want something crazy to get attention to your listing, like I'm who you call, right? Don't call the same guy that's gonna come over and put a listing presentation down and all like more stuff. Like I'm gonna talk about marketing, which is my my key thing. And so I used to want to be all the things for everybody, and I used to try to put myself in a little box so that I would fit in like with everybody else. And so I said, at some point when I really started projecting my career, I actually said, you know what? I'm going to just be myself. Like I'm literally going to be myself. I don't care what anyone thinks, if they're going to say that I'm this or I'm that or whatever. Like I'm just going to be myself. And then I actually noticed that it like everything was fine. People like were like, "Hey, I want to be."
You gave yourself permission to be you.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't give ourselves that permission.
And there's always and being a unique individual and it's an interesting thing to say because every single one of us is a unique individual.
Sure.
But so many people keep that inside because they want everybody to like them. But if you had every single person on this planet like you, like it's not realistic. If you can.
That would actually be miserable.
Miserable. If you can it is. That's why people are miserable when they try to do it. But if you can carve out the people that you, like you said, the clients that want to do business with you, want to do business with Arena, want to do business with Courtney, then you're going to be much happier doing business with people that you love, that you can relate to than everybody else. And it comes to another point, and I think this is something that we can talk about and hopefully benefit other agents out there that are trying to get their own identity in the business. Is the way that the real estate world and agents treat themselves is like everybody is in this circle and they care about the agents around them, what they think about them. But the reality is, who is the one who's putting money in your pocket?
Yep.
It is not anybody
so they
who
do
is sitting.
things agent facing versus client facing.
Exactly. And it's like, I can't put out that video or that content or talk about this, talk about that because that person said it. When the sphere of people that are going to see their posts that are going to do business with them is a totally separate group of people that are going to do business with you. So by you taking best practices and working with each other and collaborating and making yourself your own individual, unique person, putting content out there, putting whatever marketing you do put out there, you're going to attract clients that are different than somebody else because they have different spheres than you. And so fitting yourself in a box or trying to make everybody happy or worrying about what the real estate agents and your brokers think about you is the opposite of what's going to make you successful.
So speaking of content, I actually have a piece of content that I'm like, been trying to wrap my head around. How am I going to, do it? Someone sent me this video of a real estate agent who's popping off about a very political topic. He was talking about rent control. And how like and he was like really bad mouthing investors, and so I'm like listening to this, right? And then at the end he goes, but I do like working with investor clients, and it like in the same mouth, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, how do I respond to this? How do I respond to this? But that's the thought there. It's like, they're trying to be everything for everyone.
So I want to say something really key. What you just said there is there is enough negativity in this world to not add to that. So like if you go to my page, there is zero negativity. Now, I talk about my real life problems. Like I have a crap ton of problems. When you live a big life, you're going to have bigger problems. You're going to have like crazy amount of phone calls, crazy amount of text messages. You're going to have,
sure,
family
different
issues,
levels,
like
struggle.
all the different, it's a lot of stress. There's a lot of craziness going on. So I do try to, express because social media is not perfection, right? So I'm not trying to project that I'm a perfect person, a perfect husband, perfect dad, right? So I struggle in a lot of areas. But I wanted to say this is like, do not go and get dragged into that negativity because you can turn on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC and see tons of negativity. I'm always wanting to. So if you ever see me like post something that you're like, hey, Daniel, this is kind of crazy. Like I'm always trying to provide value, stay positive, be happy, like show things that you would not see on normal TV. Like I turn on the television, it's just so negative.
Right.
And just like today with the Market Munchkins, like this is a cute organization of 110 kids who are selling their wares that no one knew about. And I'm like, if I can help these people like project it. It's funny. So my wife says, speaking of personal problems, she says, stop over committing yourself to all these people. Like you're trying to help everybody and you can't, you have to come home and do stuff with us. So I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. So we went to a Beta roasting company and to interview one of the kids from the Market Munchkin. She does jewelry, right? And so my wife is sitting right here and the little girl, and she's like, Mr. Daniel, I love your stuff on Facebook, Instagram. Can you help me with that? I was like, you don't have a Facebook, Instagram? She's like, no. I was like, oh, I'm helping you. Like, let's meet up this way. And my wife is going, what are you doing? And then I'm like, oh my God, I just did it again. So it's like, I want to help everybody, but it's also about like protecting that time.
Well, but that's the power though of a platform though, that you can, for example, create like, so I'll ask you for some tips here. If someone said, hey, I don't have a Facebook or I don't have an Instagram, if you right now told us, you could then take that clip, that's the power of a lot of this stuff, and then say, hey, I would love to help you. Basically, it's cloning yourself. Like,
what do you mean?
So, okay, tell me right now, if I was that little kid and I did not have a Facebook or an Instagram, what would you tell that? What did you tell that kid? Like, what would you tell me?
I told her, I said, right this second, before we leave this restaurant, you go grab that Instagram handle right this minute. So it's Gallery Art Jewelry. So shout out to Alexis at Gallery Art Jewelry. And so she grabbed Gallery Art Jewelry, right? And I said, okay, that's the first thing. Now the next thing is that when I make this post, I'm going to tag you in it. And so I'm going to tell everyone to go follow Alexis at Gallery Art Jewelry. Then I said, now what we're going to do is we're going to share it on Facebook, and then we're going to get your name out there and crisscross.
So it's so that's cross promoting it.
The same thing. And like, I'm literally preaching to myself because that's what I do is I'm getting in front of Alexis's parents and then Alexis's grandparents and Alexis's friends and parents that I would not have access to anyway, but they're sharing my stuff. And who is this Daniel Munn guy? And so it kind of like, it's like a trickle down, right? So you're collaborating with other people. You're getting in front of other people that you would normally not get in front of. with the power of video, which is a scary thing, right? It's not easy, it's hard, but like, it's like, look at what this can do is like, if you can do this thing, you can reach so many more people, you can build your brand, and it happens like this.
So again, now it's partly that, like you always, like you're saying, into your real estate career. So all of these people that you've connected with, they now follow you on social media.
Through the community events, all of those things.
Yeah, so now I'm trying to decide who I'm going to list my house with, right? And you understand video, you know how to market property on social media, and with everything being so saturated and all these other things going on in the industry that we won't get into, but like how everything's changing, now you post something on your social media page, how many more people are going to see that in the world than would have otherwise seen it if they would have gone with somebody else?
And another thing is like on the Northshore, for example, there is talking about filling a void. We don't have any news. Like there's no news station on the North Shore. It's all South Shore. When I have to go to WW, I have to drive an hour off the freaking causeway. So I said, you know what? I'm going to bring the news to the North Shore. So anytime like something's coming up, a festival's coming up, like I'm reporting on it. I'm talking about it. I'm posting about it, right? So a lot of people come to my page to see what's going on the North Shore.
Which page?
And so Daniel Munn.
Yeah.
Just type in Daniel Munn. I bought my little blue check, so that way I'm the only one with the little blue check because there's a bunch of them. But so my here's the point is like you're coming to my page to see what's going on with local festivals, but I'm also putting in that real estate stuff. So right, so I'm showing new listings. I'm sprinkling it in because you don't want to have it all real estate, but you also don't want to have it all personal because people want to see. I was just talking to Courtney before you got in here. I deleted all my websites. I had santamanyhomes.com. I was like, I gave it up because no one was visiting it.
Yeah.
But everyone's coming to my Facebook page for community events, to find out what's going on, and then they get to see my real estate stuff. So that to me is a touch, like a database touch. So even if I'm posting about coming on this podcast, hey, I'm at Arena, I'm going to the podcast, that's a real estate touch because that's someone just saw Daniel Munn, and then they're thinking arena title, and they're thinking real estate. And so you kind of like connect the dots. And so you want to stay top of mind, and really in any business, true, like title companies, lenders, whatever, like you want to stay top of mind because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So it's whoever is closest at the time of the transaction is who's going to get it. Yeah. And so if they just saw a story about Daniel Munn dressing up as the Easter Bunny to promote his newest listing, which literally just happened,
you have to tell us that story.
Yeah, then you think of real estate. So yeah, like literally, I would say 30 minutes before I was supposed to come here, so my newest listing, I did my last three have been really fun. So I did a video of me on the roof, and then I did a really one that's called Cute, and then this one is the Easter Bunny. So the Easter Bunny is living at my new listing. And so we're doing a whole video like this, like it's MTV Cribs, Munn TV Cribs, and we're going to visit the Easter Bunny at his house post Easter, right? And so we have this whole thing where he opens the fridge and all the Easter eggs fall. It's like a whole thing, right? Well, anyway, I rented a Easter. Oh my God. I rented from my friend a freaking Easter Bunny costume, and I got stuck. And so the zipper broke, so I couldn't get out of it. And so at first I was like, this is kind of funny, whatever, like video it. This is kind of funny. Well, then like I started sweating, and they could not get the button. And I was like, don't rip it because I have to return it. It's like $200 suit. I'm like, do not rip it. And so about like 15 minutes in, I'm like, rip it. I'm like, get me out of this thing. So we filmed that as part of it. But yeah, so like it's like doing things that are different and fun and unique.
Right, you stand out,
and it stands out, and it's like it attracts the people that like I want to work with anyway. Like if you think weird and different, like I want to work with you. Which in the past I wanted to be the standard agent for everybody because I was bullied, because I was like a nerd or a loser. And which I'm still like 100% a nerd and a loser. I swear to goodness. Like
I would never call you a loser. Maybe a nerd, but not a loser.
I'm very, very nerdy. But anyway, so I will say this is that when I'm thinking about my career, like it actually really took off when I like accepted like the weirdness, and like I'm like,
sure,
I'm dressed up as the Easter Bunny on a Tuesday afternoon, and this is normal.
And it puts money in the back of my pocket.
And it puts money in my pocket. That's right.
So let's prove the concept, though. So, I mean, I've told people this all the time. We did the open house, like, what, a month ago? 6 weeks ago?
You did.
And it was probably you haven't done a ton of open houses since the mega open house that you did.
I stopped during COVID. My last one was during COVID, and then I brought it back.
But how much? I mean, we all the things that went into it. You had local vendors providing. Yeah, you had Botox giveaway. You had cookies. You had food. You called tons of people from the community to come. You promoted it through social media. What was the result of that?
I want to talk about that real quick. So 2 things I love how you just said that because it really lit up in my head. Okay, so I had to call everyone to host my first open house, and Jared Miguez and Serrato were the only two who were like, I will do it. Now I got a couple other ones for like $20 or whatever because no one believed in the vision. Can I tell you what? So I posted that I was going to do this open house.
We're lined up.
Botox open house. I had 10 vendors, 2 of which I called. The rest called me and asked me to sponsor and wrote me checks. I was like, okay. Isn't that interesting how it flipped? Like now they're coming to me to sponsor. So anyway, we had 127 people there, and we sold the house that day for a cash offer, multiple offers, and sold it. And we closed, and it was like crazy. And not only that, but I did it to attract buyers to the house, right? Because it's a really cool house. But I actually attracted sellers. People were like, I want whoever is doing this, like causing a traffic jam, like all this stuff. So like I had a whole, as you're driving into the community, there were signs every like 10 or 15 feet that were really funny, like all the way down. And someone came in, they were like, it's like going to Disney World. Like you set up the experience.
Well, it's like Buc-ee's.
On the way in.
It's a destination. I freaking love Buc-ee's.
I love Buc-ee's.
So my significant other, we actually talk about this all the time. I need to find out if there's actually a book on Buc-ee's because I would study the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like Buc-ee's, like they're talking about doing one in Mississippi, like the one in Mississippi, right? Do you know that they actually bought the billboard space like a year and a half before they broke ground? What? And look, and like they'll pit like they have their sarcastic billboards, right? Well, it's like you can hold it 300 and something miles, right? Right? Like the quality, like the bathroom, our bathrooms are worth it 300 and something miles. But they did that because they know how important the branding is. Mm-hmm. But what is Buc-ee's? We have gas stations everywhere, but they have made it a destination. Agents are doing open houses everywhere, but you're making it a destination, a fun thing to go do, a fun thing to go. You're changing something that is people could argue and say it's a dying method for agents, right? And so,
if done incorrectly,
if it's done incorrectly every day, and that's what blows my mind. Like agents think that the open houses don't work. They don't work the way that everybody does them. But if you actually put in the time, energy, and effort into an open house and you promote it the right way and know it's going to cost you a little bit of money and you can get people and add value to other people. Like I got value from going out there. I got to network with all the people I hadn't seen in a while.
You met Yeti, your tax accountant.
I met my CPA at the thing. I introduced myself to her, and there's not many CPAs named Yeti. So I was like, "Oh, you man, you help me
do
with my taxes." Yeah, but also
nice to meet you. I'm the guy who doesn't come to your office.
There was other people in business that were there too that weren't in the real estate world. So I got to network with a ton of people.
Sure,
and it was
it's cross marketing,
cross pollinating. Yep.
Yeah, and so let's actually talk into that. A lot of people see the end result. So with social media, they see like the posts that you make, they see like the end result. But there's a lot to like you talk about the details. Every 10 to 15 feet, there was a funny sign. So
do you think
what does
that was
it look
fun
like
for me to get out there and do that? I like what you said earlier today. You said when you started the Northshore real estate investing crew, like there was a void. And there's no one willing to do it because it's hard.
Yeah.
It is
if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
If it was right. So it is hard to do it.
So what does that look like for you? Like, do you just get an idea and then you start like have an ideation session?
So do you know what happens is I get an idea and I call this one and he pluses every idea. So like we did a, last Easter, we did a Easter egg hunt. Remember that one? A virtual Easter egg hunt. And so I said, okay, everyone log into Facebook at 2:00 and we're going to find Easter eggs. And so we're going to go throughout this house, and I hid Easter eggs in each room. And I was the only one that knew how many there were. And I counted. And so I said, I called Jared. I was like, hey, what should I do? And he told me how to do it better. And so anyway, we did a Facebook Live, and we got like 500 comments. It was I've never seen comments like this. And they were like, I see with this one. But the point was to get them to walk through the house, to see the entire house, because the house itself is stunning. But I could not get anyone to drive all the way out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm doing a virtual open house and a virtual Easter egg hunt. But the trick was his idea, I put like pictures of Camden holding Easter eggs, and those counted. So like I was showing the regular one, so that was the trick. And if you got that, then you got the actual number. But anyway, it's like doing things that are a little bit different, a little bit wild and crazy, and then calling someone that has like a creative brain that's not gonna like give you instant negativity, because that's I get a lot from people who think,
oh, I'm not gonna do that.
That sounds stupid, or they try to like cut my ideas, because I have a lot of ideas actually.
So how do you weed them out? So I'm a very strong visionary, and I have some business partners who are like one of the things we do, we'll either do ideation sessions, or I will email where we'll sit there and I just throw all these like ideas against the wall, and they're like, they pick the one that has like that's low effort, high impact versus everything's high effort, low impact or whatever, right? Like weeding out the ones that are like, okay, it's an idea, but not the one we should probably spend all of our time and effort on. So, and also like some of them now, I just email them my, 2 a.m. wild idea that I have, and then they'll like balance out if that's actually has merit. Let's follow that one through. So do you have any type of process of weeding out like efforts that are like
Taylor?
So my wife does a good job of it, because she hears all of them, and then like I'll share with Jared, I'll share with other people, and like, hey, like other creative minds, because a lot of times like with creative minds, like I'll give him an idea, and I'll say like, just here's my idea, just think about it, and I'll call you back tomorrow, and then like I'll call him back, and he's like, oh man, I just thought of this, like, and it's really funny,
what if
because
we can do
because like with creative minds, like you think differently, and then you can plus it, right? I like to plus the idea. I think it's a Walt Disney term. And so
what does that mean, to plus something?
To plus it. So it's like, all right, Jared, I want to have an open house, and I want to have a Botox open house, give away Botox. And then I'll call him and tell him, and he's like, all right, here's the idea. You're going to have Botox, but you're also going to have injections on site, like on the actual premises. We're going to give people Botox. And then, oh wait, and here's my other idea. So it's like adding to it and making it bigger and better and greater. And so, but also you have to have a balance of people that'll like be honest with you, like not the negatives, but like, hey Dan, like that's
to what end? Huh? Yeah. So it's like the idea of like, okay, that's a great idea, but will it get us to the goal?
So the idea that he had is he wanted, one of the things, this is the Easter egg that we had last year. He had this idea. He said, I want to go bring Easter eggs across, hide them around town, and we'll have like Easter egg hunt. And I said, well, why don't you bring them to local businesses?
Yes.
And promote the businesses. And everybody who walks in, they've got to take a picture of the business. So you're supporting the businesses along with the promoting, the whole idea. And so he had 10, 12 businesses across town that had an egg, and he would tell you what businesses they were at, and you had to go to that business and meet the people that were there and take pictures. And so it added value to the people that he was promoting. And it was just, and so, he had the idea of the Easter egg hunt. I kind of tied in the businesses too, and it promoted me, promoted him, promoted other businesses, and it was a fun thing for people to do.
Came and like they were like trying to find.
So I love all those things. Like so for example, we did a staycation in New Orleans and stayed in a hotel, and my significant other through their social media saw that like, and just cruising through it or something, said that if you say like a code word, you got something, and I was like. So at the check-in, I was like, does the word chalet all day mean anything to you? And they were like, yes. They went and got dice, like the fuzzy dice, and we rolled it right there in the lobby, and it got us a $40 like credit for the bar.
Let's go.
And based on whatever number, but like that, I will never forget that.
Heck no. That's
right?
awesome.
Like, and so there's a level in which these little things, and it's just the idea of is like, in a world in which everyone is being taught to do the same thing, like it's just like all these open houses blend in together or like whatever. It's how can you stand out? And then also it's not just doing things to do them to be crazy, but it's doing things so that, you get results. And so, for example, if you had a really big open house, but you didn't have people show up, or it didn't turn into an offer on the home, or, other clients.
Getting buyers or sellers, yeah.
I mean, that would be you'd be like, that was fun, but probably not what we're going to do next, right? And so there is a weighing out of those things.
But I will say this, though, is like, if you are going to try to go that route, you're going to have failures. Like you're gonna have busts. Like we've had bus open house like that. We thought we're gonna be really good, and that no one showed up. So you have to get a good location. You have to get a good house. You can't just do it on the
You
same.
called and invited people. Like there's intention
Yeah.
behind it.
Oh yeah. And then I got all of them to post that they were coming. And then here's the new one is you got to go to the influencers. So you got to find who's the big influencers in the area, and then go to them and say, hey, look, I'm gonna give you free Botox. If you,
I mean,
post about
companies are
open
doing
house.
that now.
Huh?
I mean, companies do that now, right? Like there's a level in which companies see the value in going to certain people and being like, hey, you know, if because okay, so it's the idea of one to many marketing. So one agent can use their platform and get in front of their sphere of influence, right? When you cross market, cross pollinate among other business, like so for example, we're going to be sharing this episode whenever it airs among all of our different platforms,
Sure.
right? And that's cross pollinating, it's whatnot. But then whenever you strategically go to someone who has a very strong audience influence, and you're being very strategic to get in front of the person, you're getting in front of one person who then is in front of, you know, XYZ, how many. And so that a lot of people don't realize, but that is the way of the future for business.
100%.
We're now in the, what did they say? It is the attention is how many, you know, it's the attention of, it's the future of attention. Whoever gets the most
Have y'all
attention.
seen the Disney thing, the internal memo? So Disney's panicking right now because none of their movies are going or anywhere.
Yeah,
right?
blockbusters are
So
struggling.
what they're saying is that the stars of the future are online. So these kids don't want to see Brad Pitt anymore. Like when we were kids, it was like Jennifer Aniston, like all these people. Like now it's Kylie Jenner and it's Blippi
it's
and
no
it's
more
Mr. Beast.
The it's no more the poster on the wall. It's who do you follow online?
Right. And here's the cool thing is, so, you know, the biggest, another huge thing is stories. Like I post stories daily and it's random, crazy, whatever's happening in my life, like completely unedited. Like, you know, I waking up in the morning, I have zits all over my face, like all the things, right? Boogers in my nose, all this stuff. But I'm gonna tell you one thing is like, if they can connect with you, it's so huge. And it's like watching a reality show.
You gotta be
Like,
genuine though, right?
Huh?
You gotta be genuine though, right?
Oh yeah. Let me tell you one thing. You can see through that
100%.
so fast.
Yes.
And you and I have
Intent has a
witnessed.
smile.
You
You
and
can
I
smell it,
have
yeah.
witnessed. Like literally had a conversation the other day about like some friends that we were like, oh, I thought that was the perfect matchup, and they were like, oh. Okay. Like
Yeah.
so the whole point is like you can see through it very quickly and it's gonna reveal itself. So if it's fake and it's not genuine, like people are gonna see through it. So it's like that's why I'm saying to accept your, like it's just such, sounds so stupid, but like accept yourself, accept who you are, and like be real and authentic. If you're weird, you're weird. Like if you like Disney, if you like Harry Potter, if you like Star Wars, I cried. So the first time I saw Star Wars, so I got married to Taylor. And we've been friends for 13 years on Facebook. That's kind of funny. But anyway, it just sent me that notification. So we went and we got married. And then the next month, they released the Star Wars movie. And I'm sitting over here bawling, crying. And she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I never thought I'd be married watching Star Wars with my wife.
That's awesome.
So anyway, it's just like, it's like, that is really me. And I'm like, you know what? I used to hide that because I'm weird and I'm different and I'm nerdy. But I'm like, you know what? If I embrace it and I show other people that, like, if you think it's weird and just turn it off.
Yeah.
Like, just
You don't
turn
have
it
to-
off.
So I
Don't
can
watch it.
like, and
Bye.
that's the thing is like, okay, so when I've gone and spoken at like real estate investment conferences, it's so funny. I would go and get my
Subtle drop.
well, no, but I would go and get my hair blown out or whatever, like, and then I would have a slide that if you want to
Can
see,
I see a picture of? I want to see a picture of Courtney in a dress with her hair blown out.
No.
80s like White Snake music video. I would love to see
So
that.
no, thank you. But the reality is like, so I used to be like, oh, I feel like, okay, I'm speaking. So I spoke at a conference. It was like 1,000 people. And so I went, got my hair done. And I was like, but then I had a slide that said, but if you really want to find me in the hallways and the sessions, I had a picture of me in my ball cap. I'm like, this is how you're going to find me.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I did that and something felt disingenuous about it. And so then what did I do? The next time I spoke, I contacted the person. I was like, how would you feel about me wearing my hat when I don't care? That's what you wear all the time. I was like,
Yeah.
And so then what I do? My next conference I spoke at, I wore a hat, and I had I took out that slide. I was like, because then no one's gonna recognize me when I have my hat on, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that idea of showing up and taking up the space that you need to take up, right?
And
How that comes across.
I say this all the time too, that if you are trying to use social media to follow people to see what they got going on in their lives or just to like post pictures of your family, then you want to have as many followers as you can. You want to share your life. But if you're trying to generate business from social media, the sooner you can filter out the people who don't want to follow you and see your content, the faster you're able to target the right people that you want to do
They're
business
not your
with.
ideal client.
Yeah. So post away and scare off all the people that don't want to follow you for business purposes, and go target people who stick around because those are the ones that want to do business.
But I will say this: so post away, but also so try to stay on brand. So the thing that I see a lot is people wanting to go viral for stupid. Can I curse on this podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, stupid shit. Like, okay, so here's an example: is that I saw it. I can't give the example because it's really bad. But anyway, so if you're trying to go viral and you're gonna and I'm a real estate agent and I'm jumping off this building into a pile of mud pudding, right? That's gonna go freaking viral.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
But is that gonna get you any business? So the video is gonna go viral, but it's not going to get you. Now, if you could tie that into real estate and say, I'm jumping for joy. I literally did this. Went on the roof and said, I'm jumping off the roof. I'm so excited about my new listing, right? Like that went viral, but it was also involving real estate. So like, even if it doesn't involve real estate, but if you're going viral just to go viral, it's actually not a great brand
That's
move.
not the right goal.
No.
So I have had stuff go viral, and it was always the stuff that I feel like I've put less effort into. Like one time someone was like, hey, come buy this. It was a rental. It was a trailer. It had been beat up by a tenant. It was in Mandeville. It was on an acre. So we go walk in the inside, and I knew the tenant had a dog, and they're like, oh, we're putting it up. I'm like, okay, you put the dog up, right? This big dog. And so I'm like, okay. And I go to walk in the backyard, and I walk out, and my eyes were like, because there was then 50 kennels in the back of this residential property. And so first of all, I'm like, where am I stepping? Because there's like 50 dogs, and they're like, and so I pull up my cell phone, I very slowly go like, and so all I did was just post this like 6-second video, not even being like, hey, would you buy a rental with all this in the backyard? Oh my gosh, did it go? Like, I think, 500,000 views or whatever.
Crazy.
And like all these crazy things. Now, granted, the thing is you want to stay on brand. Yeah. What if I did that and it was like, if it was something of like me with my family at Disney and it didn't really, like, I'm sure that happens, but the reality is to what end?
So one of Jared's things, I remember like him and I were doing a lot of videos, like professional videos, and like paying all this money to do videos. And that's important for sure. But I remember like one of yours, like you literally, I like had asked you a question or whatever, and you just like filmed a response to it or something so simple. Yeah. Or I shot or something so simple and crazy, and it took off. And I was like, look at that. Like if it's good and it's interesting and it's like a wholesome, like awesome, it doesn't have to be like professionally produced. You don't have to that's what the power of social media is. I want to say at this point real quick is like, it is free. It is 100% free. You do not have to pay a cent for it. You pick up your phone, you go live right now. You do not have to pay. Our grandparents had to pay thousands of dollars to be in front of people, as many people as we did. They had to pay, the phone book companies. They had to pay the newspapers. Like we just pick up a phone and you have access to a lot of people.
Exactly.
And it's like, what do you do with that? What are you projecting? So I would say stay on brand. Like don't post too much, because if you post too much and it's too much business, people will turn it off. Because let me just say one thing, you guys. I'm gonna look right at the camera and say this. Like, the next generation of consumers can spot an ad 1,000 miles away. Like if it even smells or looks like an ad, they're going to turn it off. Like you have to do an ad without them knowing it's an ad. Like you have to make it entertaining and fun. No one goes to social media to be bored out of their minds, right? You go as an escape from reality. You go to be entertained. That's why TikTok is so important, right? So you want to bring value. You want to entertain. And that is my freaking thing. Like, I love to entertain. I'm actually like, it was weird as I was saying this on the other day, like I'm becoming more introverted as I get older. Like the bigger the brain gets, like it's kind of a weird thing to be on the Northshore.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all about where you energize from, right?
100%. So speaking, perfect example. It's a great segue because and we're kind of running up against the clock here, but I really want to talk to you about this.
A legacy question.
Yeah.
Talk about what?
Really want to talk about this. You talked about recharging your energies, and I know that your family is a huge part of your life.
Sure.
Right. And it's apparent you follow you on social media. But so, and I ask everybody this when we do this, what legacy do you want to leave? And then I can specifically ask you this: how's your family playing to that?
So I'll tell you one thing is it's like talk about social media. So the thing on social media to do is to buy a Rolex or to buy a Louis Vuitton purse or to buy like really nice clothes, whatever.
Lamborghini, whatever.
Lamborghinis, all the thing. Like that's the thing to do to show off, right? So when I got in real estate, I was $48,000 in credit card debt. It was all kinds of crazy, right? And so what I want to say is like we have the same couch that I've had in college. I have the same clothes. I wear the same thing every single day. We do not spend money on things. We spend money on experiences. Jared knows this. He's seen my credit card bills. He just closed my house like 2 weeks ago. I was like, what is this bill for? But anyway, so we spend money on trips and experiences. I've been to all 50 states. Camden has been to 23 out of 50
That's
states.
awesome.
And he's how old?
Three.
Three. So so anyway, we do trips and we spend time together as a family and we make memories, like these core memories. We do not go and buy things because guess what? That doesn't make you happy. Like it might give you like a moment of
the money spends quickly. Like it does.
spends quickly and it might give
it
you that
gets
instant,
old.
like what's that like burst in your brain? Like you kind of get excited, like when you order that Amazon thing and you kind of get excited about it. But that fades, right? But like those memories are forever, and like he's smarter for having been to these places and he's like learning more. It's really interesting. I'm not saying that everyone likes to travel as much, but the thing about it is like the experiences over the things. And I feel like our society has gone into like things, and social media can be toxic. Like
Sure.
I have moments where I'm like, I get like really depressed and like really sad. Like I have crazy
Got to disassociate from it.
you have to disassociate from it. Just like talk about like refilling your bucket. Like that's when I go to the Market Munchkins and I do stuff like that fill my bucket, right? Helping other people. But like when you go on social media and you see everyone having Louis Vuitton purses and everyone having like, I want that. But that doesn't make you happy. Like if you think that that's going to make you happy, you are so wrong. And so that's the thing is like, I want my son, I want Camden to know like we spent time with him. His dad worked his tail off so that his mom can stay home with him and she can do her art and she can, raise him right for as long as she wants to. And there's some breaking news coming. She might be getting, anyway. So I'm not going to break down on the podcast. But so anyway, so it's a thing about like being able, stay tuned. There's a thing about being able to provide for your family. And so I know this man right here, like, so I think I have a bad schedule, and I pretty much do. Like I'm booked till 7:30 tonight, and I had to move everything around to be here for Jared, but of course I wasn't. He was late. But that's another podcast episode. So the point is that I don't know what the point is of ADD. So the point is that he has a business schedule. This man right here, but he's providing for his family at a high level so that his kids are growing up in like a really great environment. And we went to your house and had dinner the other night. It was like so nice. Like all of his kids are so sweet. Like just truly the nicest kids you've ever met in your life. Like when you like you leave someplace and you're like, that was a genuinely good time. Like I was telling him, like those are like the nicest kids I've ever met. And like I actually another fun fact. Let's just break a lot of this. I don't really like kids. That's why I only have one. Like I don't enjoy kids. Like they annoy the out of me. I just think most of them are really annoying. And so it's refreshing to see kids that are fun. Yeah. And then that leads back to the parents, right? So like you're a good dad, your wife's like, and so that's the legacy. Is like if you have a great family life and a great friends, that is way more important than having the brand new Lamborghini or having the brand new Louis Vuitton. Like that to me is the silliest concept I've ever seen.
Well, and I think that's huge because I know people who have the things, but they're on their third marriage and they're miserable. And so you're absolutely right. Like there's a level to understanding what are we doing all this for, and then still and not waiting until you're 60 to go travel the world or the 50 states. And so no, I love that. We absolutely love
and
that.
that's why real estate is so awesome, because real estate provides like a flexible work schedule. Now, yes, you
still
do
work a lot.
You work a lot and you work crazy hours, but like I can take off an hour or two and come do something fun like this, right? Then I go until so like you can do flexible schedules. That's why I love real estate. And it really is a fun industry. Maybe not in July, but it's fun right now.
Yeah.
But it's a fun industry and it provides you with like whatever tools you need. And that's like, just like coming and talk to you. Like whenever I have a problem, I'm calling Courtney or I'm calling Jared. Like we all talk to each other, most of us, and try to help each other, which I love about our community. Like she always takes my calls. He always takes my calls. If he doesn't take my call, he calls me back at like 11 p.m. Like, Jared, go to bed. But it's such a fun community, right? Like we have a great community,
right?
And so I'm trying to add positivity into the community, and like kind of like weed out some of the people that are hopefully it's going to happen, but some people that are just like jealous or like there's enough business for all of us to go around.
Absolutely, that scarcity mindset that exists.
Yeah.
Like it's really it's most people think they're taking a bucket to a bathtub, but really it's a bucket to the ocean. Right? Like there's infinite amount. And look, it goes back to that ideal avatar client, that there's just people that are going to be a good client for someone else that are not a good client for you. And so there's just opportunities out there. So for those who want to talk with you further, connect with you further, talk about all the ways people can get in touch with you online. Like where should you send people?
Yeah. So Facebook so I will say this is like, Facebook is my go-to. Like I have been heavily invested in Facebook groups, which Instagram doesn't have like Instagram groups. So like I've been more in like Facebook groups, moving to the Northshore, like posting like in those groups. I've seen a lot of growth in that. And then I feel like Facebook has like you can have more conversations. Like Instagram, you're like kind of posting and there's like maybe hearts, but you're not like really responding. Like in Facebook, there's like actually genuine conversations.
Yeah.
So I prefer Facebook. I know I'm old school.
Well, no,
I
but
actually
how
have been
can people look
noticing
for
a
you?
swing back to that. So anyway, Facebook, Daniel Munn, Instagram, Daniel Munn, YouTube. If you just type in Daniel Munn, that's one of the fun thing is like YouTube. Been doing it for like 5 or 6 years. Zero traction on YouTube. This much traction. So I've never been able to
Different platforms
crack
have-
the YouTube one. But if you just type in my name, Daniel Munn, Munn, you will find it. And I'd love to connect with you on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Shoot me a DM. My phone number's on there.
Yeah, so any business owners who want to connect and learn more about what you're doing, and also share on social, but buyers and sellers, obviously, you're looking for clients. So we'll get them contacted and connected with you by the show notes and everything that we put in there. So thanks for coming on, dude. Love you, man. I appreciate nice thing you said about me, and likewise, love hanging out with your family. Taylor and Camden are awesome. So appreciate it.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. If you ever get a chance, you have to one day just make this a bucket list goal is to meet Lucy for just 5 minutes.
She's adorable.
And if you do not smile within those 5 minutes, then you are a very unhappy person because she is like the happiest kid. And she says the funniest things of all time ever. So if you ever having a bad day,
I love that.
just drive to Terabella, find Jared's house, and just go knock on the door. Tell him Daniel sent you.
I agree with you.
There you go. Look, we loved having you on the show today. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. And we're glad we had you.
I'm glad I was able to get out of the Easter bunny costume. That's the highlight of the day.
Us too.